Congratulations on feeling like a tech pioneer just because you now have a robot to summarize your useless meetings and write apology emails that nobody actually reads. You walk around believing you're witnessing the birth of a new artificial consciousness, a quantum leap in human evolution that justifies every cent of the trillions of dollars being poured into Silicon Valley. But the truth is, you are just a passenger in a hot air balloon, inflated by pure marketing and a massive dose of corporate greed. What you call intelligence is, in reality, a domino effect of bizarre coincidences that started with a boring math problem solved nearly 30 years ago. Everything we see today, from Nvidia's astronomical valuation to the paranoia about the end of jobs, is the hurricane generated by a single academic wing flap in 1997. Back then, computers were like goldfish. They had terrible memories and forgot the beginning of a sentence before they even reached the period. Two researchers named Sepp Hochreiter and Jürgen Schmidhuber decided to give these machines a notebook, creating an algorithm called long short-term memory. This tiny adjustment in processing logic was the start of a chain reaction that transformed a coding fix into a $3 trillion global casino. This technical innovation lay dormant in university journals for years until the internet exploded, generating the first major side effect, an infinite library of data. The algorithm that once had nothing to read now had access to every ignorant social media comment, every blog post, and every digitized book ever written. Having the algorithm and the data created a desperate new need for brute force, triggering an accidental discovery in the basements of the tech industry. Someone realized that the graphics cards used to process realistic explosions in shooting video games were perfect for running the complex mathematical calculations of that 1997 algorithm. This completely changed the fate of Nvidia, which stopped being a toy manufacturer for PC gamers and became the official arms dealer of the digital arms race. This jump in processing power allowed language models to become large enough to actually appear intelligent, which triggered an unprecedented circular investment cycle. The availability of powerful chips and infinite data led the tech giants into a collective delusion, unleashing what we can call a vicious circle of paper wealth. Microsoft began injecting billions of dollars into OpenAI, which in turn took that money and gave it right back to Microsoft and Nvidia to pay for server use and chips. This movement generated astronomical revenue numbers that are, in fact, just money changing hands within the same circle of friends. This scenario of inflated profits triggered a market paranoia known as the fear of missing out, leading investors worldwide to abandon any basic financial logic. Now, any company that puts the letters AI in its quarterly report sees its stock value soar, even if its product is just a chatbot that invents facts and consumes the energy of a small city just to tell you the capital of France. This investment frenzy generated unsustainable pressure on corporations, triggering a wave of forced automation and mass layoffs. Companies are now replacing functional human beings with algorithms that frequently hallucinate, all to convince Wall Street that they are efficient and high-tech. This has resulted in a market flooded with mediocre products and a speculative bubble that depends entirely on the promise that at some point in the future this technology will actually pay for itself. The butterfly effect is complete. A simple adjustment in a computer's memory in 1997 transformed the global economy into a technological pyramid where the top earns billions selling dreams and the base loses jobs to a tool that still cannot solve a fundamental level logic problem without making a silly mistake. The reality check is that you are living inside a financial simulation where intelligence is optional but hype is mandatory. If you keep believing that the market is a perfect machine that rewards only real progress, you are the ideal fuel for the next big crash. The hurricane is already here, and it does not care about the color of your digital assistant or how many shares you bought at the peak of the euphoria. We are sailing toward a wall of reality, where the actual utility of these tools will have to face the absurd costs of keeping them alive. The 1997 butterfly gave us an incredible tool, but our obsession with quick profits transformed it into a trap that could destabilize the entire financial system if the return on this trillion-dollar investment never appears. If you prefer to understand the inner workings of the gears before they crush your net worth, it might be time to track what is actually happening behind the smoke and mirrors of artificial intelligence. Subscribe to this channel if you want to be the spectator who understands the magician's trick instead of the volunteer who gets sawn in half on stage. Or keep chatting with your favorite robot until it has to explain to you, in a very polite and articulate way, why your job no longer exists and why the world economy decided that algorithmic smoke is worth more than your labor. Financial chaos does not ask for permission. It simply follows the trajectory someone mapped out decades ago while you were not even paying attention. Have a good one, and try not to be the next butterfly crushed by a bubble that has already started to leak.